Hmm.
I have
Are we record? Oh, we are recording. I keep forgetting. All right. How are you, Matthew?
I'm good.
Huh. Good.
I was confused for a sec because you handed it over to Caitlin just as you said, "How are you?" I was like, "Wait, is Caitlin?"
No, I was like, I wanted to use a filler so that she starts the questions because she has it in front of her.
Okay.
I will start a
She was like,
question.
no, go for it.
Yeah, but my first question is, please introduce yourself.
Please introduce myself. Okay, so my name is Matthew. I'm an engineering science student going into my final year at U of T. I know these people because I used to be co-president of UTMIST from 2024 to 2025. And yeah, I guess in terms of just personally, I'm just interested in ML and AI. I do like research in responsible AI, part of a startup for it as well, on top of being part of the APA, American Psychiatric Association. And yeah, that's a bit about me.
Yeah, he was the president of the biggest ML club in whole of Canada.
North America.
North America.
Yeah,
Wait,
North
what?
Yeah, it's the biggest club in North America for
Damn,
AI.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good. Definitely will get one of the hoodie.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out Jesslyn, VP Marketing my year, for making this great hoodie.
Yeah, we'll put the link to the.
Wait, but I already
Yeah.
got the hoodie. You're the one who did it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Caitlin.
I didn't, yeah. Okay, should I go first?
Yeah.
All right. So the first question is, as you mentioned, that you were the co-president of UTMIST this past year, and it was everything you expected it to be. And what unexpected moments or challenges came up along the way?
I think the most unexpected thing was how much of like a time commitment it was. UTMIS was pretty much my full-time job for a year, which was not how I planned out the year or what I expected. But I guess just because there's so much going on, and because I guess we were really lucky, like all the VPs and directors themselves really, really cared about the organization and cared about like people's experiences, learning, and just doing an overall good job, that it set like the caliber really, really high. So I wasn't really expecting that, especially with like previous years. Like UTMIST itself, I guess for a bit more context, was always really like high performing, a lot of really good things going on. But I think like this year particularly, people's efforts and attitude within the club was something really special. And yeah, I guess like something else I guess unexpected was just, I guess on top of all that, like I thought like being co-president would be mostly, you know, just setting a vision, providing support where it be. But then it also got like pretty intense at certain times.
Give us the drama. Come on.
Yeah, there's some drama. So I was like, on top of being a president, I was also like a therapist. So yeah.
Unofficially?
Unofficially.
Yeah.
But hey, I think that's just how student clubs go with when
Students
things are
make
very
dramas.
passionate. Yeah.
Who comes to you for therapy session?
Who comes for me to therapy? Well, the doors are always open for whoever, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so the second question is, we all think that you're very caring and supporting leadership. You have a very caring and supporting leadership style. And how do you deal with conflicts or high pressure, like holding large-scale AI-related events at U of T, and then like just talk more dramas?
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, I guess as a leader, I guess one of the most important things to me is empathy and understanding other people, like their lived experiences. Because at the end of the day, as I guess a leader, you're trying to shape an organization and the activities towards the benefit and the needs and desires of the people within the club. So having like a really strong understanding of the people, and also knowing people not just as directors, VPs, and associates or developers, but also as people, and understanding what their desires in life are really important. So I think all that kind of gets intertangled, and then that's why, at least for me, my approach to leadership was very much like try to help people out, try to understand what they're going through, and from that you get a better understanding of how to kind of where people are coming from and how to kind of navigate those conflicts. So naturally, when conflicts do arise, which I guess yeah they do, when you have a lot of people that are really, really passionate and believe about things, then sometimes those passions can kind of, I guess, cross over each other, or there can be different like expectations across members. But I think the important thing is just having that really good understanding of where people are coming from, trying to talk it out with other people. And then I guess, yeah, usually I think when that happens, people at the end of the day, we're all just, it's a student club. We're all just like students and people, and we all care about education, learning, and helping each other. So I think we all kind of have that mutual bond and fundamental value there. So at least that's always there to kind of ground people.
Are there scenarios that probably that type of leadership might not work in your opinion, or has there been scenarios that you had to change your approach, or you thought, okay, maybe this is not working, something like that?
Yeah, I guess for me, I'm very much, I guess when I approach leadership, it's always like, how can I help you and how can I understand you? But then I guess if people aren't picking up the work as much, or if things kind of get out of hand too much, then that's not really the right framing. Then it becomes partially advocating for the members who don't feel as comfortable, and then trying to be a bit more deliberate and strong-willed with respect to making, like setting clear boundaries, that kind of stuff. But I found, I guess that's also why we're like co-presidents. It made it easier, because I think in times where the organization in UTMIST, like certain areas weren't as up to the I guess the level that we wanted it. Like Andrew would always also like step in and provide a lot of support in that regard, and he's really good at doing that. I think he's also, I guess, had a bit more experience with UTMIST itself, being VP engineering and a team lead. So I think that's where our kind of skill sets go hand in hand.
That's fair. Yeah, because a lot of scenarios I've seen, like you guys go back and forth. But also Andrew has some sort of a similar type of approach to you. I feel like sometimes you guys, like, for if there is any shortcomings from the team, you guys just try to like do it yourself, or like at least make up for that part of the shortcoming. So that's why I was like wondering that maybe in some scenarios that might not be the best approach, especially in my work for a student club. But like there's some areas that might put too much pressure on you. So yeah, that's why I was like wondering if there was any stories that that happened. Yeah, because I saw that you've been like working so hard for the past year. So
every event or conference, like if we met Matthew in the morning, he's I slept for 3 hours, or I didn't sleep at all, and I have to stand there for a whole day to host the events.
I think there's, I guess, multiple dimensions of it. I think when I see other members of the club working really hard, I just feel worried for them, and I don't want them to be like alone with respect to what they're going through. So then I always want to be there to be like, hey, I can support you through that. So then I guess naturally that means I take a lot of time. So if I ask a member like, oh, hey, I see you're working through the slides. If you need any support, I'll help you out. And I like stick to my word about that. So if that means the slides are being prepared at like 2 a.m., I'm going to be there at 2 a.m. helping out. If I know that there's not enough people being staffed at a certain period of time, I'll be there. But yeah, I'd say like that style of leadership, like it does burn yourself out a lot. But I think I was lucky. Well, I don't know. I guess I was lucky because everyone's like passion within the club was really, really strong. So I was kind of riding off of that the whole time. So no matter what was happening, I was always happy to jump in and provide support. But yeah, that is actually something that I had kind of reflected upon a bit, because I think it also comes down to prioritization too. Because with my year at UTMIST, I always made sure almost UTMIST was number one, because like this is a big commitment. I know that there's a lot of people before me, like especially like Richard and all the mentorship he gave me before coming into the role. So I was also holding kind of this sense of duty that like being hired into a lab, sure, it's just like I got hired there or whatever, or working on a research project, but being part of UTMIST felt like something different. So it felt like on top of my own desires, I also had a duty to kind of take care of things like that.
I think we could transition well to the next question. This could be like a discussion between three of us, because we all connect with UTMIST in different ways. And so the next question is, how has being part of UTMIST shaped who you are, or any impact on yourself?
I think it shaped me a lot. prior going into UTMIST, I was in like a kind of weird stage because I was going into a year of not having a lined up like internship or not having like lined up research and not really knowing what I was gonna do because I knew I wanted to go into the field of like responsible AI, but I was like, okay, there's no place in industry that I can really find that accepts like internship or beginner positions for that. And I'm not really sure what direction I want to take with research, be it more like philosophical or more technical. And then the opportunity of like co-presidency came along, and I guess like the previous co-president had been kind of preparing me for that. So then it kind of was like, oh, this is this really great, cool opportunity, and I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to give it my all. But I also kind of reframed my relationship with, I guess, the world or my understanding of what I could do out beyond myself, because I think I always had a notion as like, okay, like I can work in fields which I believe are for good, and I can try to treat the people around me and my friends and just people I meet with like kindness and empathy, and I think that's a very very valuable life. But to what extent that kind of value of goodness extends beyond that kind of sphere, I was always kind of unsure. But UTMIS was also kind of like this platform where I could kind of very strongly embed these key values of like empathy and caring for other people within an organization of like affecting like 2,000 people, and then kind of systemize those things as well, and seeing how that can kind of grow and spread and kind of grow into the, I guess, part of what the UTMIS kind of stands for now, and seeing like the passion of all the members. I think that I realized like, oh, my ability to do things beyond myself is like possible, and I guess UTMIS showed that to me.
Well, I do agree. You made the whole environment very welcoming, very friendly, and that was pretty nice actually. So yeah, for me, it was mainly like coming to Canada was a different type of challenge. You know, I didn't know anyone. I was like, okay, I need somewhere that I can find people who I can connect with, and yeah, basically UTMIS provided that. I just remembered that in the first event that I went to from UTMIS, it was Eigen AI, and I met Caitlin there first, and she told me that, oh, you should go talk to Matthew. And back then, obviously, I didn't know you, and basically she connected me with you. So that was pretty nice. And since then, I got to know a lot of people from UTMIS.
And
She's
what,
been skipping ads.
oh, and what do you do now with UTMIST?
Oh, I mean, I'm the social guy, I guess.
You're,
That's
you're
one of
not, you're
my
more than just a
titles.
social guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's my most proud title, but also I'm working with the startups right now. We're like trying to create a new division for startups so that people like can join, and like we're kind of like pushing students from like school projects and stuff to form teams and work on something more meaningful, maybe. Yeah, so that'll be pretty cool. Okay.
For me, I think I had a pretty rough beginning because that was Rachel's time, and then I was I was applying. Rachel was a previous co-president, and then he was also oversee marketing, and I applied as a marketing associate. And then for any other club I joined, it's pretty chill interview. You know, I just talk. But for this one specifically, there's like 6 people interviewing me for associate position, and then they asked me scenario question. Like I have no idea. And then after I finish, I feel like I screwed. Like, yeah. And I was asking Rachel, I was like, how was my performance? And he actually listed all my like points, good and bad. But I finally got in, and I feel very happy. Also, like there in the interview invitation, you guys sent it out the same day to all the candidates, and I actually can see all the other candidates. And then I see one of the guy, he was like one of the really big lead in ramen. And I'm like, oh, there's no way I can be that guy. And he actually got admitted, but he didn't come anyways. And yeah, and then that's how I started. And then I joined, and I think Gen AI comes right away. And then
Yeah.
the first year, like it's pretty big, and then I feel definitely not comparing with this year's. It was much smaller scale. Like I feel you guys, like I remember Matthew keep going home to to pick something up and then to come back, and then
Remember, he was in the area 24/7. Didn't even go
yeah.
home.
Oh, second. Yeah, no,
That's
this year for
true.
Gen AI, yeah. No, first year for Gen AI was also, that was
Yeah.
crazy because it was even shorter planning, like the amount of time we had for that hackathon was like a month and a half.
Yeah, it wasn't thinking coming that big, but it's actually
Yeah.
it turns out really good. Yeah, and I feel very proud like to be even part of marketing and to do some outside work. And also I got so much interactions with all the UTMIST people. I feel like as a non like traditional background, and I thought I couldn't have any conversation with you guys, but it's actually coming very smoothly. So I feel that's a good impact. And also like working with Richard, it improved me so much for marketing. A lot actually. Like I feel very educated.
Do you see any like parallels between, because like Richard mentored me a lot about leadership. Do you see any parallels between me and Richard? Because fundamental, like I feel like there's a very big like difference as to towards where we approach things. But I'm just curious if you can see any similarities.
That's a tricky question. I feel you guys do certainly in different ways, but I feel this year I'm with events team, so I was like even outside.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fair.
So, but I do feel like sometimes when I in the event, like supporting, especially in Ag and AI, like a lot of things doesn't coming smoothly, and I just reach to you, and you will tell me, like you will lead me where just do it for me. I feel that's really good. Yeah, but for Richard, I don't know. Like I didn't support events that much, so
Right.
I should give you a better answer, but I will
It's
think
okay,
about
yeah,
it. Yeah. But actually it comes to like a bigger, like, question. Like we all quite fortunate to join UTMIST, but like how does people or our audience go find similar communities, like can also shape the way, like how it is that impact us, like find the communities where like, what do you guys think? Just curious.
Trying to think.
I have one good suggestions, especially if you're like in your 20s and stuff. Get close to your big schools in your area. Like seriously, that'll help a lot because the density of the people who are similar minded is the most than compared to, let's say, like some random events or random clubs. But hey, sometimes you can make it yourself.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Sorry. No, I'm just thinking like maybe be open-minded. That's one of the biggest thing. Like if you don't think yourself is open-minded, why would you join a U of T events? If in the beginning you think, oh, they're definitely not gonna, I cannot be part of it. You shut the door yourself.
Actually, if you wanna meet more CS people, go to the closest rock climbing gym.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't even need to go to tech conferences. You
Nope.
just go to the rock climbing gym,
Rock
and all
climbing.
the CEOs are there. All the developers are there.
Yep, all the CS students, you're gonna meet them there.
Why?
They just all go rock climbing. Like I see some of my professors go rock climbing. It's a very CS like technical eng pills activity. I presume it's because it's some level of physical activity. People have the ability to do it socially, but also they can do it themselves. And it's very like analytical problem solving because it's about trying to find like optimal pathing across a wall. At least that's my theory, but it is a bit of a phenomenon.
You can share to someone else.
Yeah, you can take a video and be there with someone and be like, actually, you have to hold that hold. Yeah.
I remember I first met Andrew. He showed me your whole like climbing pictures.
Yeah.
People can't see it on the screen. No, they can't. Don't worry. Matthew is like, why did I agree to this?
I'm terrified. No, after sometimes at UTMIST events, Andrew's like, yeah, look at Matthew climbing, and I'll just have videos of me like falling and stuff. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, yeah. I've seen the videos of you dancing.
There's too many videos up there.
Yeah, too many videos. As a president, you'd get a lot of clout.
Yeah, a lot of that's one way to call it. Yeah.
But anyways, coming back to the question, what do you think?
Oh, communities. Yeah, I think you're pretty spot on. I think it's all about kind of like taking that risk. I guess my recommendation, because I was like going into university, I was pretty terrified. I feel like core down, or at least being like first and second year of university, I was like super not social. I was super afraid of other people. But I got into student clubs. Like I got into engineering. Like my first student club was Engineers Without Borders, and I got into that because I knew someone and I felt a bit more familiar before taking on a position. And then the next one was UTMIST, and the way I heard about UTMIST or really got into it was because Andrew at the time was going into his role as VP engineering. So it was like, oh, Matthew, you have to join as engineering director. And I don't think without that kind of connection, that support, I would have really felt comfortable, because it's like, big student club. And similar to you, like I had to compete with all these people to get in. But yeah, I think it's all just about like taking that risk. And if you know you're interested in an area, it's just worth checking it out. And if you want to kind of feel the vibe, you can always just attend the events, or just try to find like a member off to the side to just chat with, to just like, feel a bit more comfortable and get a sense before jumping in.
Fair enough. What's your like opinion about this? How do you go about it?
I said open-minded.
Open-minded.
Expands.
But I feel like it might be a challenging for me in the future, because I'm gonna graduate and I'm gonna be very far. Actually, right now I want to be as far as from students. This title, because no, I just feel it's like an umbrella for me. It's not like a yes or a right or wrong question. It's just for me. I also like try to find a rent, because I live on campus for 4 years. I want to find a place as far as from campus, like as far from it.
You're done with U of T?
Yeah, I'm done with it. Yeah, I want to run away from it. Yeah, but yeah, finding community, I don't know. But I do feel like you can't find your community just within your work or like your company, because you're probably gonna stuck with those people for the whole time, which you don't want. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know actually. But I do know like our previous guest Kai, he hosted some like really cool. Like he went before like workshops. That could be a cool way to like meet people with more interactive activities like paint or anything. That could be a good one. Or like maybe even bright, like Sina said before. Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, I think it's still like finding people through activities is the most efficient one. Like going to events that people are doing what you like, going to, if you're a let's say extrovert, going to some sort of parties or something. But that'll be hard in the beginning, especially when you don't know people. But even knowing people from random events, it's kind of like a time consuming, process. Like there has been situations that I met someone, we even talked or connected on LinkedIn. The first time we never talked or something, and it was from both sides. It's not like someone ghosted the other person. And the second or third time that you even see them randomly in another location, suddenly this random like bonds gets created or something, that, oh yeah, we talked before and stuff like that. That's pretty interesting too. That is one of the most random ways that humans get connected, and I've seen that type of like connection a lot, because it's kind of like based on a familiar face among a bunch of like unfamiliar people, and that creates some sort of like a bond, no matter like how much you guys talked before or something. That's kind of fun too. But yeah, I guess the similar type of activities is fun.
I remember one of the activities I've done last year. There was a U of T outdoor society club, and then they own like a, what's that called, a house, very far, and I just signed up myself. And then it could be member, it could be non-member. You don't have to be a U of T student. And over there, I met a group of people I never met before. None of them are my friends, and I slept there, like at their house for like a couple, I think 3 days, and it was really fun. Like people, like there are people coming couples, and then people get jealous because they're couples, and then we cook together and then climb, and then I think that could be a really some drama. Some guys like some girls and something like that. Yeah, but it's very fun. But it could become in danger because you don't know any of them. Yeah. Anyways.
People love to watch those dramas. We should make our YouTube channel, instead of like podcasts and stuff, creating like those student dramas and stuff.
Just having like a creator house of like taking like the top 5 presidents of the different clubs at U of T, put them all in one house.
That's a good idea actually. Or make like one of those game show hosts or something, game shows or stuff, that like we left like 5 presidents in one room. The last person to leave is gonna get all of the clubs.
Get all the clubs.
Or something. Or we can make it more close to dating shows too, put a bunch of like
Oh, that's true.
students together and there's a bunch of drama, that'll be fun. Huh.
We'll do that. And then the next one.
I'm pretty sure people will watch it more than podcasts,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brain rot generation.
The next question. Oops. Yeah, next question. We're done with UTMIST for now. And then kind of curious. One sec. Kind of curious, outside of UTMIST, how's everyone's like university journey or post-university journey, and what's your plan after?
My university journey was really weird. I came to U of T specifically to do the engineering science program, not for machine intelligence, but for the engineering physics option. Because throughout all my life, I was really interested in like particle physics, theoretical physics, quantum physics. But then I did first year, and then my first year was like the COVID year, with like 2020, which was all online. And I really hated it because I was like, I would just wake up every morning to on my computer. I didn't know anyone. And I just also didn't really enjoy the stuff I was learning. Like sure, like math, physics is fun, but I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing with this. So yeah, I went into second year and I was like, you know what? I don't really like this. I'm gonna quit. So then I quit NSci. I like filled out the paperwork and I was like, okay, I'm gonna enroll in instead like philosophy courses next semester, because philosophy was something I found interesting. I also took like a course with the Toronto Center of Applied Buddhism, because I was really into Buddhism as well. Yeah, my life direction at that point was very different.
Sounds like Steve Jobs in a sense.
Steve Jobs did that too?
Yeah.
Oh.
Then he go to India to pursue some sort of religion or something. I don't know what was the religion in India or something. But
Interesting.
yeah. Future Steve Jobs.
Future
okay.
Steve Jobs. I don't know about that. But yeah, then I think around that time I was also talking to a couple profs. And they were doing different things in like AI sustainability, well, not necessarily AI, but just like engineering for sustainability. One prof that really resonated with me was Jonathan Rose. He did stuff on like AI for mental health. So I was like, oh, okay, this is really interesting because it's like using this technology for something that I fundamentally believe is good. And I do have strong technical skills. So I was like, oh, I can try to combine the two and do like responsible AI and AI for mental health, and come back to NSci. So then that's kind of how I got into this program and ended up being within this field of responsible AI. And I guess like going forwards, not entirely sure what I want to do. Like probably want to get my PhD in the field, be it in philosophy, computer science, faculty of information. Not entirely sure. I'm currently working for a startup. It's called like Matra AI. I work with like two profs, the CEO and one of my friends who's in like Rotman and the Monk program. So if that works out, that works out. But I could also see myself being like a professor in some capacity because I really enjoy teaching and trying to help people grow. And I do enjoy academia, so I think maybe one of those routes, or all of the routes. We'll see. Not too sure.
So many different paths all at the same time. You're like industry and startups at the same time, academia.
Yeah,
It's pretty exciting.
It's exciting. It's tough to balance. It's exciting. Yeah.
No.
Ooh, what do I want to do? Hopefully get a job at Google.
Job at Google?
Yeah, but actually, there's a bunch of things that I'm like fascinated about. One of them is to like work on a very interesting problem that I like as like a startup or something. That'll be one of them. The other one, which is something that I was not passionate about that much before, but nowadays I'm like, okay, seems pretty interesting, is just to be involved with like different events and student clubs and stuff like that, in a sense, thanks to UTMIST, obviously. Like, even if I get my job and stuff, I'm gonna like still contribute to this because I feel like I owe a part of my like or friendships plus like some of my good experiences and memories to these sorts of things, especially coming to a new environment. So I wanted this to keep going. And another part is content creation, which I do like. So yeah, as you guys, whoever is watching, like this is one of the paths that we're going, the podcast path. And to be honest, most of these, I feel like if I find someone who's equally as passionate about them as me, it'll work out. The reason that the startup part has not worked out yet is because I haven't found like someone who has similar source of interest and also a similar amount of passion. It's one or another. I don't know if I'm not searching good enough for people, or is it like a more niche thing that I do like. But for example, the reason that the podcast work is because Caitlin kind of matches my level of passion, and there's like times that she pushes me, there's times that I push her, and seeing that like initiatives from her a lot of times, like I'm like, okay, I should work harder too. And that kind of like works out as like when you're like equals in a sense, like co-founders or like co-host or something like that. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Me, what's my plan after? Um, I feel like I don't know. I'm a person really hate uncertainty, or if I can see a value within a project. That's what my mom said. Like I call video call them. One day I bring up, oh, I have this startup idea. I'm gonna work on it, and another day is like, oh, I'm gonna create a mug. You know, a mug that is very high tech, and then but I quit really fast. I don't know why. Like maybe I'm not like more knowledgeable or like not creative enough or not like persistency. But I do want to create something maybe in different ways. Like I used to really want to create like a service base, but I feel like, oh, service, I don't know, it comes good and bad. And then I want to create a product. Oh, product is even harder. How do you make it like more niche, like making people to buy it, and then maybe coming up to have like maybe a YouTube channel. But it also like comes to how you like want to show yourself and what make people want to watch it. But that's all like a thought process. Hopefully I will join this company very soon, like the Sun Life, maybe, hopefully, and hopefully get a master degree in the future, no matter where. But right now I'm pretty like I'm watching too many news, and I feel very sad watching the news. So pretty still.
AI stuff.
No, no, not AI. No.
For me, that's the case. I'm like, oh, AI replaced these two. Okay, let's go.
No, like just politics, yeah. But it's pretty like I see even more uncertainty. Like how do I stay this country, or which country can I go, or what's further? Like that also comes in play. So
Find a Canadian husband.
oh,
That's crazy.
it's hard.
Or American, I don't know. Wherever you want to live.
Yeah, I remember I work on the Allen Cafe now. Like it's on Toronto Allen, and I see a girl. She's like, oh, you know, I can legally marry to anybody. Like yeah, which is very fun. But yeah, but I feel for me, I like to doing all those like random stuff. Like some people say, oh, I don't want to. I have my brain. I don't want to work physical job. Like I'm gonna use my brain to create stuff. But I feel like I like to go to more like engaging communities. Like I went to that cafe once, and I feel that environment's like so pretty. Like everything. I never want to work in a restaurant, but it's so pretty, and I feel it's heart healing. Every day I bike down to the harbor front, and I took the ferry and took me to the residential island, and I worked there for like 3 hours and I meet people, and it's like I learned as well, and it's pretty nice. Yeah.
That's actually pretty exciting. Yeah, I can relate on that actually, because recently I found out that as much as I love technology, I also like people. That's why I don't know if like coding will be the best like solution for my passion eventually. I obviously love like technology a lot. It was my passion since like when I was a child too, like innovation, technology, all of those. But at the same time, I want something that marries people with the technology in a sense. So kind of feel you on that. So for example, I've told you before that one of my like future plans is that when I'm like rich enough and stuff like that, make my own cafe, and just after like retiring or selling my $1 million startup, something like that, I'm gonna go just work in my cafe, talk to people, chill. You know, that'll be pretty cute.
I feel like that's two things about you two. It's like you're both very much like people, if that makes sense. I think that's also like when I met you at the events, I met you because you were both kind of like people. Like with you, like you're so passionate, like you have so much passion when you're around people, and it just kind of like inspires everyone. Like I found that across like all the different UTMIST events, and I also think like it's something very similar about you. Like whenever you're around other people at whatever events, you like calm people down and just make people feel like good and happy because you just bring that sense of like happiness with you. So I feel like it makes a lot of sense that you're saying like these are the things that you're kind of looking for in the future.
It's a very warm. Thank you, Matthew. Yeah.
You should start to take over. You should start to take over Toronto's what is it, like, event scene.
Toronto's events. Yeah, you do. I think like you do it. I think you can do it. I think you got it.
I do not have that much skills in teamwork still. That's why I'm also like actively avoiding some of those leadership positions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like here's the thing about me. I feel like my leadership does not work with people. Like sometimes I don't know how to be harsh enough with people, you know. And for leadership, I'm pretty sure you know way more. It's like very important to know the balance, and you definitely know the balance. Some people are a little bit too harsh. We all know who we're talking about. Shout out Adib. No, I'm kidding. No, but here's the thing. Okay. To also like give their flowers, like people like Adib and Richard, which is gonna be our next next guest, basically.
Oh, you're getting Richard?
Yeah.
Whoa! Okay.
Yeah.
I'm super excited.
That'll be pretty cool too. So yeah, people like those people, I feel like the type of leadership that they have is very good for uncertain like situations and like for people who don't know each other, like for teams who don't have any background from each other. That's why it's like kind of working with like organizations in the beginning, especially when you create something or you want to like rebrand something, something like that, right?
I guess so. I think to me it's also about the type of culture that you foster. So for example, with Richard, his culture that he had in UTMIST was very, very formalized, kind of almost like running like a business. So I think naturally, if you're gonna have those kind of relationships with people, then it's really beneficial because then you can have really clear like these are your expectations. You need to meet them. If you don't meet them, then you're not meeting expectations, and all these things kind of follow. So functionally, that can work really well. I think Adib was running things in a kind of like similar fashion where he's a really, really good person at setting strong visions for things. So then his kind of attitude is he'll set a really great vision, and then we'll have everyone kind of push and support and execute it. So I think under those types of styles of leadership, those approaches kind of make some sense. Like sure, like maybe there's like, I guess across like all leaders, even myself, like we all have like tweaks to our things, but also like I guess fundamentally, the approach that Andrew and I kind of built for UTMIST was very, very drastically different. Whereas the first kind of months of UTMIST, we were trying to foster this sense of like community, care for each other, and that kind of stuff, and then build things up from there, which kind of allows us to have this more kind of supporting well, I guess everything is supporting, but I guess this attitude towards leadership and students.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And also, one of the reasons that I feel like your type of leadership and Andrew's type of leadership works better with like some organizations is that when an organization is matured enough already and you have some sort of reputation that people will come to you, now you have the choice that, oh, we want these people because they're more proactive or they're better. That works way better because now it's like collaborative and it doesn't let people's egos to like push, other people away or aside. But for at least in the beginning, I feel like some sort of like harsh leadership, and I'm not saying you might not be. Maybe if you start an organization, you might be like that too. I haven't seen that side of you yet. Harsh Matthew.
Yeah, we'll see. Very few people have seen harsh Matthew.
Yeah, that'll be fun. But imagine Matthew's yelling at people. Anyways, but yeah, so in the beginning, I feel like when there is like lack of options and lack of reputation and people might not care about an organization that has nothing to show off for it yet, maybe the harsher approach might be better. And that's what one of the reasons that I probably feel I'm not like ready enough to create like a startup as like a leader at least. I can be a really good second person to a good leader, but not the first person, at least not yet. Because and I learned that about myself because I don't have that harshness yet, or maybe not the correct approach yet. If I'm around people who are also equally passionate or something, that'll work really well, like my type of like co-leadership or whatever. So yeah, that's one of the things I really like appreciate about like really good leaders, including you and Andrew, and also like in a different style like Adib and I forgot his
Richard?
name. Richard, yeah. So yeah, what do you think? You actually work with both types of leaders in a sense. What do you think about like the similarities and differences? Back to Matthew's leadership.
He asked me this question earlier.
Yeah. No, but expand it a little bit more. I'm very.
I guess like
curious.
because I think Justin saw. Oh wait, no, shoot, you weren't even in marketing. You were with Harman.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
with Harman.
Harman was in marketing.
No,
Events.
logistics. Yeah.
Logistics, yeah.
Cause I'm trying to think back because I think her style of leadership. It's very. I feel like it's similar to mine. Is it maybe? At least the way that she functionally went about like.
I feel she did a lot of tasks herself.
Yeah.
And then what we need is just a human and then standing there to make sure the events run well. Yeah. But for me, what do I think the leadership different? I feel with Richard, I might be a little bit scared because I know Richard as a friend in the beginning, and then that's why I joined the UTMIST because I know he's part of it, and then he said it's good, so I applied. And I feel scared sometimes because I want to make it do well, and then he treated marketing very like harshly, and then as always each year they treat marketing very harshly, and then yeah, and then this year, I feel working with events is like I think you guys run the events pretty well, like the logistics side, and then no matter what Notion pages you guys creating or like how it will function, it doesn't feel. To be honest, I as events person, I don't feel like it needs me in a sense. Like I feel first year, I feel the team is relatively smaller, and then we don't collaborate with other clubs that much, and I feel my contribution could be bigger. But the second year, this year, I feel we collaborate with other teams, especially GDSC. They comes with like a lot of people, and I feel maybe like running events, I don't really like need to bring efforts into it. But that's how I feel. But that's nothing about leadership. And then, yeah. But to be honest, the second year I was pretty lagging. I wasn't working too much.
Ooh, okay.
So,
Confession.
so maybe I should work more.
I think it was like at the end of the day, I think as you kind of correctly put it. Sorry for putting this back into UTMIST stuff, but as you said, we had I think there were a lot more external connections, and then also naturally, like I myself as co-president was strongest in logistics. So having Harman, who herself is really strong in logistics, meant we had like from the top two people that look at things from a very logistics heavy way. So then I think it ended up being like we set a lot of the different things. So then when the logistics directors, like events directors like yourself and Prav kind of fit in, was like doing just discrete individual kind of parts. But yeah, I guess it was, at the end of the day, it was like functional.
Yeah, it is very functional.
And then I saw you at the events like the York Schulich event and Eigen AI.
Yeah.
I think that's the important part.
All right, so camera died again.
Yes.
And she's not in even the. Okay, you
want me to even closer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very close,
There
very
we go.
friendly. There we go. Yes, and we have the background too. Okay, where were we? Back to Matthew.
I think we were finishing up a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like leadership similarities. But anyways, coming to an end, I have a question for you two. Okay, if you weren't doing anything tech related, what would you be doing instead?
Interesting. At one point of my life, I was like, I'll become a Buddhist monk and like live in an isolated area just by myself. And honestly, I was like very on board with that. But I don't know. I think other areas that interest me are like bioethics and pure philosophy. Like studying epistemology, like philosophy of knowing, was something that's really interesting to me. Other areas are like psychiatry and psychology, because that's always focused on understanding people and trying to provide them support in a very like person-centric way. So I think those are the two kind of areas that I would gear towards if I wasn't in tech.
So basically making a cult or something.
Making
right?
that's one way to put it. Yeah.
All right. For me, it's a barista, probably in a cafe. See? Don't you love the background here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I wasn't even tech related.
Okay, but choose whatever you like.
Oh, whatever I like.
I'm pretty sure you're not into math, so choose whatever
No.
you want.
What do I want? You mean like for fun or like for my life goal?
No, if you were not in economics and math.
Oh.
Yeah, like I guess that's any other alternative to what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Might be a farmer.
Ooh.
I can respect. What would you farm?
Like fruits.
Mm.
Don't want to farm anything about animals. Don't want to engage with animals.
Don't want to engage with
Or
animals?
someone will deal with animals, but not me. I don't know how. Scared.
No love for animals.
Love animals. That's why I cannot be on my hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, being a farmer for all the plants. I want to open a resort based on that farmers land. Yeah.
Nice.
Eggplant farmer?
No.
Why did you pick eggplant of all the vegetables? Sina.
It's a vegetable.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
It's a land where we plant plants differently.
Interesting.
Okay.
Alright, I guess this is the end of the episode because my hand is falling off now. Yeah, so I guess this is gonna be a routine thing that we're gonna go back to, like vlogging style. But yeah, thank you Matthew for coming today, and it was so fun.
No, thanks for having me.
Yay! And we should come to the end.
Yes. Okay, let's do a subscribe to 3, 2, 1. Subscribe. Alright, let's do it.